Hey, welcome to the Stephanie Stevens Show, where I help you discover the power of communication and the keys that unlock the doors to freedom in every area of your life. Hi, thank you so much for listening. This is the Stephanie Stevens Show, and this podcast is for people just like you who are looking to find your voice and discover your freedom. What does that mean? Well, that just means becoming a really efficient and amazing communicator, and I am here to help you with that. I'm Stephanie Stevens. So I just wanted to touch base with you today because funny stories, right? We're always lifelong listeners. I am committed to ongoing learning. I want to share because I've got a thing or two to share. But man, I'm telling you what, the things we learn about ourselves on a daily basis, right? So the podcasting thing is new to me, as I've mentioned before, and I'm so excited to be launching into this space. And you are very special, because I can call you a friend. I can already call you a friend. Podcast listeners are a very unique bunch. You are. We are. Because a podcast listener statistically is somebody who's intelligent. They are successful in at least one or more, probably a couple for you, areas of life. And they are absolutely committed to personal growth and development. Now, that's not the entire population. That's a fragment of the population. And you, my friend, as a podcast listener, are that population. So you're already very unique, and you had to actually find me. And so I'm so honored to be spending some time with you and that you would allow me into your sacred space, into your day, wherever you are and whatever you're doing right now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I set the intention together that our time together is always going to be inspirational to you, that there will be a real and authentic and true connection, that there will be honesty and transparency, and that we'll just share life stories together. Because we all learn through storytelling. We really do. It's a fantastic tool to use, in fact. The people who can tell stories can actually use metaphors and analogies to get things across to others that you wouldn't be able to say directly. Isn't that interesting? So we will definitely get more into that and those kinds of techniques as time goes on. But I just thought I found something interesting today when I launched my podcast and posted the link to social media. Now, caveat here, I have been away from social media for a while. I've done it intentionally. When I knew that I was going to focus on really building my business and serving my business and scaling my business, I did not have time for social media. Now, I didn't have time for it because I was attached to it in probably a very unhealthy way. I'm not one of those consumers that can just jump on there and see what's going on for 5 minutes and then put it away and forget about it. No. I think the performer and the people pleaser in me, and I don't say those things as though they're badges of honor. Performance is a stronghold. People pleasing is a stronghold. They've been things that have kept me in pretty unhealthy places over the course of my life and in certain relationships. So, it's not a prize to have dealt with those things. Now I'm committed to working through them and releasing those things and what I've taken and learned from being caught up in performance and people pleasing is some pretty valuable lessons. And at the end of the day, it's about getting to the core of you, what you're here for and what you have to offer, right? But being away from social media for a while was very freeing to me because when I would be on there, I would feel compelled, literally, almost neurotically, compelled to respond. Okay? Now, I mean like respond to everything. Comments, if somebody commented on one of my posts, whether good or bad, and I didn't really get a lot of bad comments because I wasn't very controversial on social media. But anytime somebody commented, I felt literally compelled to like it or comment back and say thank you. I cannot tell you how many years I went through every single comment on a birthday post of mine, like it's your birthday and you get all those comments or likes. I mean, to the point where I would sweat or be up until 2 a.m. just making sure I did not miss a single comment so that I could say thank you. Like I'm literally starting to sweat just thinking about this because it's embarrassing, but it's true. I would panic if I thought I didn't catch every single comment because somebody would feel bad that I didn't acknowledge that they had made a nice comment toward me. Okay, I know. You're probably thinking, oh, brother, what have I gotten myself into listening to her? I promise. There's a good spin on this because I saw it and I recognized it. And the things that we see and recognize immediately, just by the very nature of bringing something into the light, you've already started to transform and transmute it. Okay, so acknowledging that I did that is the first step to having freed me from it. So as a title holder and as a radio personality, I was obligated to post on social media. In fact, the only reason I had a social media account on Facebook to begin with was because at one of the radio stations I worked for, they required it. And they required a certain level of engagement. So I was obligated, and I'm telling you what, it is such, as you already know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, it's a slippery slope. Because I would engagement, and then people would comment on things, and then it would turn into this deep philosophical back and forth, and then, 4 hours later, the conversation, on, off, you go, you have lunch, you come back, there's still a comment. This constant compelled to respond was literally just eating up so much of my time and my mental energy. And energy is energy, my friend, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual, it's still energy. So it was consuming parts of me. And I just, when I launched my business for young adults with autism and related conditions, frankly, there was just too much to do. I could not also raise my own children. I still had at the time 3 kids in the house, and out of 4, because my older one had already left and gone out on his own to live on his own. But I was still raising 3 children and also a mom to a 4th, right? And had so many other things going on. I was doing ministry. I was doing coaching. I was doing one-off radio gigs. I was blah, blah, you name it, traveling for radio stations, doing live events. I was doing too much. I was doing too much. So to also be engaging social media and trying to launch a business, some stuff had to just go to the wayside, and social media is one of them that I cut. And I'm really, really glad that I did. Again, it provided me such an incredible level of freedom. To disconnect from that is another world. It's so peaceful. I turned all the notifications off, and I would only go on there once in a while if somebody drew my attention to some type of post. And so here we are a couple of years later, and I had been given some really good advice, and that was, listen, if you're actually going to do this podcasting thing, you got to get the word out there. And again, I'll be honest, I hesitated to do that. I hesitated to post it anywhere. And you're thinking to yourself, like a smart, savvy podcasting consumer would, well, how did you expect to get the word out? Oh, I don't know, magic? I don't know, miracles? Honestly, I did not want to push it out on social media because I was concerned that I would start to, if I did, get the feedback. And the feedback, again, would try to suck me in, loop me in, and I would be consumed with getting back into that. It's like jumping back into a pool. It's just that way. Like you sink or swim. You can't tread for long. You have to swim and go somewhere with it, or you got to get out. But it doesn't really work to just kind of tread water. It just doesn't work. So I took the advice and I put my links up on Facebook and Instagram. And sure enough, what do you suppose happened? Right away, I started getting some comments, a lot, all gracious, really great, encouraging, sweet, beautiful comments, really heartwarming. In fact, I'm so incredibly grateful and very gracious, but I could feel it. I felt it right away. Those first couple likes, those first couple comments, do you know what I started doing? I started jumping in there and I started commenting back like, hey, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Oh, you're so sweet and kind. Oh, thank you. Oh. Right. And it's like a time warp. It's like I never left it. I was slipping right back into the same thing. Now, here's the good news, okay? I'm about to turn this bus around and get to the good news. The good news is the faster you see your patterns and habits, the faster and quicker you are going to transform and transmute them, okay? So the minute I started seeing that, and I found that 10, 12, 13 minutes had gone by, and I was still, reading the comments and commenting back, I glanced at the clock and I thought, no, you don't. Not this time. In order to remain healthy and do this thing right, it is going to require intention and it's going to require boundaries. And that's something that if you've ever struggled with people pleasing, those are the two things that'll make you sweat and stay up at night or eat junk food, because it's the hardest thing. The hardest thing is to take the step back and release the feedback. Don't need to comment on everything. And hey, even if you do get to comment on stuff, it doesn't have to be now. It doesn't even have to be today. That comment, in fact, will probably be sitting there 12 hours from now. Shoot, it might be sitting there 4 days from now, right? So releasing all of that energy and redirecting it toward the intention of putting out a great product or launching a great thing, you're going to end up using that energy to fuel even more creativity. So here is my encouragement for you today. If you are getting ready to launch something, anything, doesn't matter what, a relationship, having a baby, a new job, a podcast of your own, I don't know, you're going to write a book, you're going to write a song, doesn't matter what it is. There are lots of ways to communicate and create. Whatever that is, I'm going to encourage you, especially if you've struggled with performance and people pleasing in the past, take a deep breath. Go ahead and take your first step in, unattached to the outcome, okay? Feedback will come. People will encourage, they will praise, they will say, cool, good, way to go, good for you, it's awesome, all of those things. You may get a couple of things that, aren't as pleasant down the road eventually, but that's not what's for here and today, that's not what's for now. What's for here and right now is for you to step into that thing and completely detach from needing to engage the feedback, right? Because if you can take that energy, that desire to perform and please and engage, and direct that toward just getting that thing out there, or getting that proposal on paper, or getting that very important question asked to your employer or your spouse or your friend, that question that's going to lead to deeper conversation, that's where you spend the energy doing it. The return on investment on expending your energy that way and not getting trapped into a feedback loop or being attached to the outcome will cause greater levels of success and deeper levels of engagement in the long run, because you'll be focused on putting something out there that's excellent, putting out there that conversation, putting out there that whatever it is, with intention, with confidence. And then the rest will come. Get to it when you get to it. That's not what's important now. What's important is the thing that is in your heart, bubbling over, needing to be released out into the public, out into the community, out into the world. Whatever that is your focus. Go ahead, my friend. Step into that. Utilize your energy. Step into it for such a time as this, and let's see where this thing goes, shall we? I'm here to encourage you, and I thank you so, so much for listening. I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Thanks so much for listening to The Stephanie Stevens Show. Please remember to subscribe so we can stay connected and you never miss an episode of the podcast. Oh, and if you haven't left a rating yet, please be sure to do so. It helps incredible people like you find the podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.